Salvi Agenda here from at We Light Beans and at figure.8.energy on Instagram. And it's the new year in the Gregorian calendar. So there's lots of release energy and new beginnings, right? Ones that we're choosing. And, I was feeling what I was releasing. And I've been thinking about this for a while too. It's like, okay, what I want to release. And I tried this rising to release in ceremony, and there was just still a blockage. There was still something there, and I was like, that's weird. Like, no densities are coming up, but there has to be something. Like, there has to be something. Like, I feel that there is, but I didn't quite have clarity on it. And sometimes things have to happen, and then at least in the feminine, I can't speak for the masculine, but in the feminine, since we're ruled by our waters, very affected by the moon. And maybe if you're a masculine water sign, or you have it in your top three, you'll resonate with this more. But it's like what I was saying about fears in the other video. It's like the fears tell you about yourself, right? And the same thing for any other really strong emotion. And so that brings me into what finally came up that I needed to release. And it's something that I've been working on for a while. And what it circles back to is authenticity, right? To be your authentic self is to feel those very real feelings. Don't push them aside because you want to be more healed, but really sit with them, and yes, process what it means, and more than just sit with it and process it, vocalize it. Like, be your genuine self. Because what if this was the last time that you had to feel hurt from something? And even if it's something that was a pattern in your life, right, that you've noticed, what if this time you spoke up on it and it was the last time you had to feel that hurt? Like risking judgment and risking being seen as whatever. Like, what if this is the last time you had to feel that pain? And because you're vocalizing it, you're saying, hey, I acknowledge that this is within me, and this is what I need. And this is what I want. So, sitting in the unapologeticness of being your authentic self and how you are right now, that is crucial on how you're going to show up in the future, And, we're very much in this new year energy, and I feel so strongly that saying no, this isn't okay, because I want to be treated a certain way, and that will be greeted in different ways. And however it's greeted will give you the answer that you need, right? And it's terrifying, right? It's terrifying because you could get the answer that you do not want, and then still you have to trust that the divine heard you. The divine said, okay, I hear you. And as the divine works through people, they'll hear you and they'll make their decision, you know? And I think it's just a really beautiful thing, you know? Call out so you can call in. So in the year, I'm calling in safety and security, and of course, all the beautiful abundance that comes with rising in my authenticity stronger than I've ever done before. And every day that I walk this path and I take those risks and I step up and I stand up, no matter how scary it is, you know, like having the courage to do it, the more bright life is. I look back at all the different selves that I've existed as, and how whenever I would speak up and it was met with resistance, I would just shut down and choose not to speak up because I was the peacemaker, you know? I wanted other people to not feel that discomfort of me taking up space and vocalizing my needs. You know, for all the different ways that we need in relationships, right? And there's that counter argument, right? The initial counter argument of like, I don't need anything. I'm a whole person. I'm complete. It's like, then why are you in a relationship? There are things that you do need. Respect, appreciation, connection, comfort, security. Like, the list goes on. You might not need anything physically or feel like you're very healed within yourself, so you're not needing from the other person. And then it goes back to the other video of needs versus wants. Like, actually, there are things that we do need, and it's okay to need, and it's okay to want. You know, we should get away from all of the shaming around just showing up as we are. The sooner we do that, the sooner we can truly heal those nitty gritty details that are deep within us. And the sooner we can walk in our authentic path and attract to us the life that we're meant to live. Yeah, we have different contracts and we have different karmas that are playing out from this lifetime and from past lifetimes. And if we continue to choose the things that are going to keep us stuck in those cyclical suffering, well, that's our free will, right? Our minds can come up with all the different excuses to keep us there because it's the safe space, right? It's a safe space to stay in suffering because it's predictable. You already know what will happen. But what if? Like, what if you did be vulnerable and speak up? You know, be vulnerable in the sense of you're putting yourself out there and you know that the answers could be unknown. But you're trusting that you'll get the honest answer. And then you'll be able to navigate better. You know, when I have these deep thoughts and realizations, and I do things that take courage, and like I show up on here and I've already processed a lot of it. I'm not gonna say you're never gonna see me cry on here, because there's been some times I've cried on here, whether it was like happy tears or just like processing tears, but like you reach into darkness, you know? You've got to allow yourself to touch those aspects of your being so you can really understand who you are right now and how you want to be and what energy you want to exist in. Over this lifetime, I feel like I cannot count how many times I've kissed death, you know? Just like the phrase coming to my edge has come blood. And in those moments, it's literally like just like kissing the darkness so passionately that the light, the distance seems even brighter. And then there's clarity in it, right? What I'm processing right now isn't quite as dramatic as the story I'm about to tell you. But there was one moment where I was in a relationship where I was being inauthentic, right? Like I was being myself, and like I was picking myself up after everything that was happening, and still continuing to move forward and be light and be happy. And I would just process it as like, okay, I acknowledge this person is going through their stuff, and also I'm gonna choose to be happy. And then, you know, like placate the situation and just let them be how they were, even though I knew that they were lying to me about certain things. It's like I can't do anything about that, but what I can do is work on myself. And that's true, always true. But the reality is, like, I really shouldn't have continued in that relationship because it was hurting me. A lot of self-healing happened, but the relationship wasn't what I wanted, you know? Like I wanted a connection where I could be myself fully and trust that the other person could be their authentic self fully and communicate with me instead of lying to me. And that's one of the like really hard things is when you do show up as your authentic self, you get really close to the divine and your intuition gets sharper and you know things that you try to talk yourself out of. And then the evidence shows up anyways. But anyways, so this is one of those situations, and I remember coming back from bike riding, meeting up with them, being like, they're like, how's your day? And it's just like, oh my goodness, amazing. Like, I'm ranting on it, and then I could feel this energy. It's like, something's up. Again, something is up. Oh my goodness. Trying to play it cool, and what was up is they wanted to split up with me. And I shouldn't have seen it as a shot. This person was totally stepping out on me multiple times and lying to me about it. And anyways, I remember when we split up, it was ironically on the steps of a church, right? An iconic church that I won't tell you, just in case you live in the city that I was in at the time. And I remember like feeling such sorrow because I had invested so much energy into that connection. I felt like I did everything that I could to show up in a way that would make us harmonious. And so I'm on the church steps and I'm like feeling so much grief and aspects of me just shed away. I'm just like melting, and I remember grasping, I was like on the steps, right? And so I'm like grasping onto the bars. At this point, like he had already left. He was just like, it's just what it is, right? And I remember just like grasping onto the post, just like looking up at the church and being like, what is happening right now? My name translates into beloved angel, right? And so being ironically on church steps, I was just like, whoa. Like, I was just left on the steps of a church to die, right? Die in the sense of like that whole relationship, this like years of being together, years of going through stuff. And I just felt so much darkness shedding and like getting really, really down. And then I don't even know how long I was there because this is in the middle of the night. I remember something clicking and just like all that darkness just shed away. And I felt this rebirth. Like I had kissed death. I let a part of me die. And I was becoming renewed. And I was being born again. On church steps, right? I remember looking at the church and being so grateful and thanking the church as well for being that safe space. Because I feel like if I was anywhere else and I was feeling that level of darkness, I would have been more susceptible to like negative entities coming at me and feeding off that energy and like making me fester in it. But it wasn't the divine's way. He had no idea because we had been walking. I don't think he had any idea the symbolicness or how important it was for that separation to be on the church steps, because I had a veil of protection over me, and it's how I knew the divine wanted something else. It was like, hey, this was important, this had to happen. And so after that, I still had to show up for the community, right? I had a restaurant at this time, and it was my life. So I still had to be able to get up and work all day, every day. And also I was still living with this person was still living with me, I should say. And so I remember making a decision. It's like, okay, there's nothing I can do about that. This is over, and you know what? It's finally over. The pattern would play out longer than that, where I would be in that situation where I would find myself in situations where I wasn't standing up for myself, and I would continue to placate in later relationships. And but at this particular moment, I made the decision to move forward and to heal myself and to do what I needed to do. And it meant coming closer to myself, getting closer to source. I went into 6 months of very intense healing. Every rising, I would wake up in ceremony, and I would make the intention to release negativities, anything that was holding me back from being my highest self and source aligned, soul aligned. And there's more to it than that. There's a lot of like connection with animal kingdom, plant kingdom, fungi kingdom, cloud kingdom, all of those things. And I was able to show up, and people had no idea, because I worked on myself in the risings, and I felt that major release that for like the rest of the day I was running off the adrenaline and feeling renewed again, and sometimes that's like really what it takes. And I remember that person being so confused, because I think they wanted me to show up sad. And like, yeah, there was a big part of me that was really sad, but I wasn't gonna let it affect how I was showing up, because I still had a mission, I still had a duty. I wasn't gonna let my personal things get in the way of what I needed to do, and it confused them, because it felt like I just moved on very quickly, and however that makes people feel, right? And so flash forward, all these years, and many more learning opportunities later, And like I've been telling you, like every day I feel stronger in my being. And I still have those moments where I'm like releasing aspects of myself, and sometimes it's like really hard. Like I was saying, like it took some time to like pull up a density. I remember this rising just being like, there is something inside of me, like why isn't anything coming up? Because the divine said that they needed to trigger it in a certain way. And it's not, I don't want to say that the divine is constantly putting out tests to see if we're ready, but because the energy is going to continue to be in the vortex, those opportunities are going to keep showing up until you're finally ready to like really release them and to hone in on the lesson that's coming from it. Like, you know, the opportunity came again. So I processed, and this is where I am right now. Like I am being vulnerable and saying like if there's any sort of interaction between me and somebody else, no matter what level it's on, I choose to say what I'm feeling, and I'm gonna take that risk. Sometimes I do hold back if I feel like the person's not ready, and I'll just like navigate around it. But at this point, that's really what I'm deciding to do. Like coming into this new energy of just showing up as myself unapologetically, you know, more and more close to my authentic self. And even that means showing like the messy parts of me that I know are showing up because of past wounding. But I'm more clear now what I need even to get through that, you know. And it's not anybody else's responsibility, but because we are traveling in these moments, the people that you have around you in these moments as you're processing things are really important. And so, like they say, everybody's here for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? That's determined by what the reaction is to you showing up as your authentic self. So, on those notes, I do want to pull a couple cards. I'm thinking like, I'm very much in mom mode right now, where I'm still doing what I gotta do, and I have a sleeping baby in my arms. I was thinking about something somebody said to me recently as I was going about doing my normal things, you know, having one baby in my arms and still doing stuff. Like, I don't even think about it, really. It's just like, this is what I do. And I'm so used to not having daily consistent support, or sometimes I don't even realize it's happening. I have my baby on my hip or on my back, and I'm doing what I gotta do. And so that's what I'm thinking about right now. Just one card, two cards, two cards. The Hermit and the Wheel of Fortune. So before I open up the guidebook, what the Hermit is telling me is that, you know, there are things that we're navigating that we have to go into ourselves with, right? We have to go into that darkness, because when we go into that darkness, that's when that light is appreciated more. It's where you can see it the most clearly. And when you do that, This is your promise. The Wheel of Fortune. You're promised abundance. You're promised all the blessings that are supposed to come to you in your authentic energy. You are on the path of spiritual knowledge and self-discovery. Retreat from everyday life and create space for introspection. Go within and you'll discover the knowledge and clarity you seek. That's for the Hermit. For the Wheel of Fortune, it happens to be on the next page. You're experiencing the cycle of change. The wheel is turning and your situation is constantly evolving and shifting. What goes up must come down and vice versa. You know, when we take these risks, we are allowing ourselves the opportunity to experience the down, right? Because we can see all of the beautiful things, and that's where like gratitude rests, you know, seeing all the beauty in things. And I feel like a lot of spiritual folks, people who appreciate it will be like, go towards gratitude, always express gratitude, like don't focus on the negative because you'll attract more of the negative. And it's just like, don't hyper focus on the negative, but bring it to the surface. You can experience all these wonderful things, and if you ignore those rocks, eventually going over that, I'm thinking like a bicycle. If you keep going over those rocks, your tire is going to lose more and more air, or you're going to get a bubble on your tire. You're not going to be able to propel at the same speed that you were before. It's going to be harder to experience what happens whenever you go forward. All the blessings of things, because you have things in your way, you have things in your path. So sometimes we gotta stop and we gotta look at that rock and think, hey, maybe we should move it. And if I move it, maybe the person that's following on the bike behind me will have a clearer path too. But if I go over it, the person behind me is gonna go over it too. And it's not really in the best interest for anybody. What I feel like many of us overlook is that whenever we do healing work on ourselves, we're showing up differently, right? And we're doing healing work on other people too. We all affect each other. And so it's choosing how you want to affect people, right? I don't want to affect anybody in a negative way. And I also acknowledge that if there are people around me, I'm going through something, and I'm healing something, it's going to affect them too. It's going to affect them in the way that I show up. It's going to affect them in their response to the way that I show up. And I don't want to say good or bad, because, you know, healing work is a lot. Like, is there a book that gives us all the answers? No. That's why it's so important to connect with your guides, because we are all going through such unique experiences. And sure, we may have gone through like similar situations, and it's affected us differently. How we process is different. And so I really do believe that we come into each other's path. And we're supposed to work through things together. I had to pause for a moment because I was making some jewelry. I made something for someone. And so I have my my boxes out that have all my different stones and earth elements and some charms, and my eye caught a circular charm with a mockingbird on it. And I was thinking, it's like, yeah, that's very much like what happens, right? We go through something else, and then the people around us are feeling the energetic mimics of that, you know. And if we heal ourselves, other people can heal themselves too. But if we continue to exist in these pain cycles, we're showing them like that's okay, and that's what gets mocked, that's what gets picked up, that's what propels forward. Oh, I accidentally pulled 2 cards. They're actually 3. I need to stop looking at the deck. Okay. Insight. Be aware of today's blessings. You will be surprised and delighted with an outcome that you weren't quite counting on. Enjoy and expect more. See, and this one was very much for me. It's still there. And it's for you too. Whoever's tuning into this, like, you need this for some reason. Affirmation. I am open for all good things to come to me now. I am deserving and grateful for all the rich abundance that is mine. Having faith like this is what can help you through those scary moments of showing up as you are, for communicating your needs, because you do deserve it. You all deserve it. So don't be afraid, or be afraid, but have the courage to show up anyways. Show for yourself, show for your children, show them. If you're not doing it for yourself, show your children or the children that are in your life that you can be rewarded for being you, for wanting more. The other thing I pulled was one of the cards that's like the informational card about a deck, and what my eyes just went to on this paragraph is that this is visible proof that dreams do come true. They did like 2 years of market research using these cards and show that they do help to empower and enliven people's greatness. It was also telling me that I need to read this often today, so I'm going to carry that card on me and keep reading it. I am not alone in my desire to be of love and service. Today I join with the spirit of all others, and together we walk strong. The insight is that there is a great need for able people. Know your strengths and weaknesses and follow the advice and example of one you respect and admire today. Realize you are not alone and ask for and receive help. You know, it's important to have strong people in our corner, even if they're not like people that you physically have interaction with. It can even be just like some sort of a figure, right? A philosopher, or we're in the age of information, so an Instagram therapist, you know, because we need that solidarity. You know, we need that connection to remind us that we're not alone. And when you can come together in love, even if you're just coming to yourself in love and coming to this invisible person love, or just going to somebody that you know has a little more strength than you right now, because they're not processing the same things as you are, like, it can be very helpful. And that's how we can show up for each other, you know? If you show up as your authentic self and you're just like not feeling your greatest, or you have some like insecurity that's there, there's all these things that's saying like don't seek validation from outside sources, because you should be strong within yourself. And those shoulds are just like so much pressure. Sometimes we're just not. Sometimes we're still processing, and it can help. Yeah, solely seeking validation from other people is not the healthiest thing, because then you'll never like really feel within yourself. But sometimes that's just a season, you know? So I'm thinking about some folks who like get annoyed at other people, and I've even been in this situation too, where it's just like, oh, this person's constantly seeking validation. It's like, maybe that's just the season that they're in. Maybe they need it right now. Like, another situation from somebody else is popping into my head where they are like a little harsh when speaking about somebody, because it's been like so long that the person's been processing stuff. And yeah, yes, but also we have this moment, we have today. So like, forget everything, all those years that person showed up in a certain way, and see like, how are they showing up today? What can I see about them today that I can help them with today? You know, sometimes we don't need to get to those really, really deep rooted issues, because there's stuff that's popping up on the surface that might actually tell you about the issues of the past. Like, I ran into this recently where like I'm looking at somebody's situation and I only get a small glimpse of it. But in that small glimpse of what I see today, I know it can help them without even knowing that they've been dealing with this stuff for a long time. I'm just like, this is what I'm seeing today. And now that I know what they've been going through for all that time, I'm looking at today and I'm just like, well, today happened because of all the things from long ago, but also today's issue is just another consequence from all of that. And so if they can fix this today, they can heal all that stuff from all that time ago. And without getting sciencey about it, like, I'm just sharing that sometimes we just need help today, you know? So I'm gonna read this affirmation again and hold it very close to me and probably get some sleep. I don't know, it's probably like 3 o'clock right now. I am open for all good things to come to me now. I am deserving and grateful for all the rich abundance that is mine, and my other child is awake right now. Bye!